Southridge is the 7th school in the Philippines to receive this distinguished School of Character designation from the Center for the 4th and 5th R's Asia. This award, as you may know, is based on documented evidence of implementing the 11 principles of effective character education, a conceptual framework which is used by thousands of schools around the world. A team of 8 accreditors evaluated the evidence submitted by Southridge that they were implementing these 11 principles. They also spent a full day interviewing staff, students, parents, teachers, and so on as to how they went about using the 11 principles in their daily work at the school. I had an opportunity to read Southridge's application where they submitted the evidence of their work. And in all my years of evaluating similar applications for the School of Character Award, I have not read a more persuasive presentation. I also had the opportunity to read the excellent report submitted by the external team of accreditors, and I greatly admire the careful, thoroughgoing evaluation they did of the submission by Southridge. I was delighted also to learn that Man Rentoy and his Center for 4th and 5th R's Asia will be partnering with Southridge to champion character education throughout the entire region. That's wonderful news. And in closing, I would like to quote the Catholic philosopher Jacques Maritain, who, from my perspective, provides what may be the best, most comprehensive definition of character education. And Maritain's vision seems to me to express the Opus Dei approach to the formation of the whole human being. He wrote, "The aim of education is to guide young persons in the process through which they shape themselves as human persons, armed with knowledge, strength of judgment, and moral virtues, while at the same time conveying to them the spiritual heritage of the nation and the civilization in which they themselves are involved." What work could be more important for the full development of the individual student or for the flourishing of all humankind? May God bless and be with you in your continued participation in that noble vision. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We are absolutely thrilled to have you join us today for what promises to be an incredibly insightful and impactful workshop, The Teachable Moments in Sports, a roadmap to winning long after the game is over. So before we begin, let me call on, if you could say hi from the different schools and representatives of this conference. From Badminton Asia, are you there? Okay. Nice to see you. We also have from Elizabeth Seton School. Are you here? Okay, it's good to see you. From Paref Woodrose. I'm sure Paref Woodrose is here. Okay. And of course, Southridge, Paref Southridge, Paref Springdale, and Paref Westbridge. We also have from LaSalle Green Hills. I think we have a participant from LaSalle Green Hills. We also have from Stonyhurst Southville International School. And we also have from CIIT, College of Arts and Technology. And we also have from Xavier School. So thank you for all of you for being here today. I'm Francis. I'm one of Paref's alumni. And I think we have a fantastic group of people here today, all united by a single goal: to build character and to instill lasting values in our youth through the power of sports. So before we begin, allow me to start with a few reminders. The comfort room for those who need it is on your right. And please do not forget to register and to claim your certificates at the booth after. And for those interested to purchase our speaker's book, it is available at the PAREF booth near the lobby, where he will also be there to sign your books after the talk. So today, we have our speaker, Dr. Pete Paciorek. He's an educator for more than 25 years. Not only is he an expert in his field, but someone who has lived and breathed the world of sports, understands its challenges, and recognizes its incredible potential for shaping young lives. So at this point, to introduce him, let me call on PAREF's Head of Personal Formation, Mr. Man Rentoy, to introduce and welcome our speaker.
Good afternoon. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. This is just one of the pre-conference events of the actual conference that will start tomorrow and will go on up to Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have the Student Leaders Summit. And then on Sunday afternoon, we're going to have a 4-day intensive training for administrators with the 2 Navarre professors. I was telling Kiko Perez, he's just supposed to warm you up, but not to start the program. But he started it already. So anyway, in the tradition of PAREF excellence, culture of excellence, we always start on time. And so thank you so much for joining us today. We are so lucky, privileged, honored to have somebody important with us today as our guest speaker. He became a very good friend of mine when we both received award from character.org. He received it as champion of character to do sports. And then I was given the international champion for character for championing character formation outside of the US. And ever since that time, we have become good friends. We've actually been trying to work this out since 2 years ago when we first met online in that awarding ceremony, but we didn't get to push through with it for one reason or another. And today, we are finally able to make it happen. I'm going to introduce to you someone who's very important, not just because he was a professional baseball player playing with the LA Dodgers. He is important not just because his book, which is available, a few copies available in the PAREF booth outside, is considered to be one of the most important works on character through sports. And it's a rich resource, especially for schools that would like to champion character through the powerful tool of sports and sportsmanship and all the virtues that come into play in sports. But especially, he is very important because he believes in what we in PAREF firmly adhere to: character, values, virtues, and making sure that the young people entrusted to our care will grow up to be very good men and women of character, not just champions, not just award-winning, not just intelligent math, science, English, and whatever subject geniuses, but especially growing up to be very good human beings. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming our esteemed guest, Dr. Pete Paciorek. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. How's the volume? Good, good. Okay. Is it okay if I come down off the stage? Okay, good. I want to come down some closer to y'all. First of all, thank you for having me here today. I'm honored to be here. Man Rentoy in the United States is somebody who is very well respected. I know obviously he's highly respected here in the Philippines for his passion for character education and character formation. So to be introduced by Man Rentoy is a big privilege and honor for me. I also want to take a moment, if I could, to thank Danny Moran for the work that he's done. I've known Danny and I've known Man now for probably a good 2 years, 2.5 years, and we share the passion for character education. I know that all of you are here today because you also have that passion for character education. And so my hope today is to be able to share a little bit from my book and my passion and the work that I'm doing at IMG Academy down in Bradenton, Florida. And as I said, just honored to be here with you all. And I love this idea from a Christian background that iron sharpens iron. And so I want this to be interactive as it can be. So I'm going to call on you all to turn to each other and do what we call partner shares, where you share your thoughts, share ideas. Maybe you're willing to share with the whole group. So it's not just me talking the whole time. It's all of us sharing and learning together, because there's so many character educators, wonderful coaches, wonderful teachers from Parif schools and outside of Parif schools in the room today. So as I said, it's an honor to be here. Okay, so I want to start off with a quick story. And I started Character Loves Company, which is a nonprofit for underserved youth in Florida as well as in Missouri that helps them grow in their character through the vehicle of sports. Some of them don't have the same opportunities that maybe other children do, so we try to provide the opportunity for them to learn and to grow through the vehicle of sports. So the picture on the right over here is the first group that I worked with at the Boys and Girls Club in Bradenton, Florida. And the picture off to the left, I'm going to share a quick story of the gentleman in that picture with me. His name is Glentavius, and we call him Tay, T-E, Glentavius. So we call him Tay. And the very first time I used this curriculum that I'm going to be sharing with you all today, the very first time I did it was with this group of young individuals. And I was so excited, poured my heart and soul into it. I even wrote a book about it. I'm so excited to share this with youth, share it with the world. So I went and ran my first workshop, and I got home. My wife and my children were like, "Dad, how did it go? How did it go?" And I said, it went well. It went pretty well. But there was one kid, one young man who was distracting, disrespectful, giggling, and just taking away from the overall experience from the other kids. If you're an educator in the room or a coach, can you raise your hand if you've ever felt that way about a kid? I think we probably all could, right? So I get home and I tell my wife, I said, it went really well with the exception of this one kid. I didn't even know his name at that point because I didn't take the time to really get to know him. I just saw him as a distraction. And my wife, so I said, you know what, I'm looking forward to next week. It was on a Tuesday. I'd come back every Tuesday for an hour or an hour and a half. We'd play sports and we'd learn character through the vehicle of sports. And I told my wife, said, you know, I'm looking forward to next week. I'll just tell the director of the Boys and Girls Club that let's not have him be part of the program. He was distracting. And my wife looked me right in the eyes and she said, like every great spouse should do, and she said, okay, I guess you'll never impact that young person's life. And it was just stopped me in my tracks. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. The kids that what we call the golden children, the ones who are always doing the right thing, yeah, we can help them continue to grow, but they don't necessarily need us like other children who are distracted and challenged in different ways. So what I did was I got there early the next Tuesday, and I asked Glentavius if I could talk to him before the session. And I said, I definitely want you to be with us in this session. I think you can learn a lot from it. I want to learn from you as well. I want to get to know you better. But could you please be more respectful? I need you to be more respectful, otherwise you're taking away from the class, you're taking away from the dynamic, and everybody's not able to learn because of that. He looked me right in the eye and said, I absolutely want to be part of this program. I know I need this program, and I will definitely be more respectful. So that session, he was a lot better. The third week, I showed back up at the Boys and Girls Club, and guess who was waiting for me at the front door? Quintavious, Tay, was waiting for me at the front door. I always had a little roller cart that I'd bring some snacks and bring some activities. And he actually, we did our workshop on the second floor, and he actually, there was no elevator, so he actually carried my little roller up the stairs, sat in the front, was engaged the whole time, was a great leader. We got to know each other better. By week 8, it was an 8-week program, by week 8, he was a star. He was a superstar. He was leading other people, he was lifting other people. He was a 9th grader at that time. He started mentoring the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. He started going out of his way to do good for other people. And a month later, the director of the club called me and said, Pete, you'll never believe who was the student of the month. Out of 300 students that would come to the Boys and Girls Club, in this inner city Boys and Girls Club after school, Quintavious was the student of the month. And that's his picture, youth of the month right there. 2 months prior, he almost got kicked out of the club, where they said, you know what, you're such a troublemaker, such a distraction. They were this close to kicking him out of the club, and he would have had nowhere to go after school to keep himself out of trouble. Well, Quintavious and I have kept in touch. He recently graduated from college, got a college degree, and he's highly successful now. And I'm not saying it was just because of this character program, but it's adults like you all in the room, who care about young people, whether you're a parent, a coach, a teacher, an educator, an administrator, who cares about youth. We're all in this together. We're all in this helping, and it's hard. I know how hard it is, and some people say it's harder than ever to be a teacher, to be an educator, but our youth needs you, and it needs all of us to not give up on them, to believe in them, and to keep building them up. So that's a quick story about my good friend Tay. Okay, if we can play this video, if it'll roll for us.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes a second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not 2 nuts, 3 is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So, notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So, over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. that yes, it was the shirtless guy was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So as we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the courage to follow and show others how to follow. And when you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that, TED. Thanks.
Okay, I love that video because it's just like character development, character education. It's not as flashy as winning championships in sports, winning rings, winning titles, getting scholarships, things of that nature. So a lot of times parents, youth, that's what they care most about. But as coaches, as educators, what school, what education is all about is helping us grow in character, helping us learn how to apply what we're doing in sport and how it's going to help us for the rest of our lives. It helps us be a better teammate, helps us be an innovator, be an entrepreneur, be an ethical business owner. All these things that we want in our youth. So I wrote this book that's available for any of you, and I think I brought 30 copies out there, but it's also available on Amazon if you want a copy. It's not expensive. It's called Character Loves Company. I got the idea from, you've probably heard the term, misery loves company. Okay, misery loves company. People that are miserable like to hang out with other miserable people, and what do? They bring them down, right? They suck the energy and the life out of you, so you try to stay away from those people. So that's where the title of the book came from, Character Loves Company. So this is company of people of high character who value character. So as I said, I'm honored to be here today with you all. I actually had a beach ball in the back, and we were going to do a beach ball activity where it showed how all of us are in this together, where we each had to hit the beach ball and go around the room, but I couldn't get it blown up. I didn't have enough lung capacity to get that thing blown up. So you all are spared from that activity. But I am going to do some interactive stuff at some point today. So I know you've already started this at your schools. When I drove in with Danny today, I was so excited, big smile on my face, to see the sign out front that said Southridge is a school of character. That is so awesome. And for all of you who are educators here at Southridge, or just Parif in general, I know soon it's going to be all the Parif schools. And it's going to be something where it's a movement, where everybody sees this is who we are all about. We're putting our best foot forward. We're modeling